I swear to God, I hate editing software. Well, either way, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Epic 7. Time to get the alcohol.
Whether you win or lose.
So, we have Alencia, Edward Elric, and Doris here. We are fighting Apocalypse Ravi, Ran, and Archdemon's Shadow. So ultimately, hey, what's the big thing that we're going to do? What we need to actually do is we have to kill Apocalypse Ravi ASAP, because that's really, honest to God, the only real threat. And my Doris has plenty of ER, Rand's not a threat, and she's going to be the target of every single hit from Apocalypse Ravi. So this leaves Alencia to take every single roll of just going into Apocalypse Ravi. Now, she's rocking the Samsara Prayer Beads, which, like, you know, gives her a little bit of bulk and also makes her do a little bit more damage, but hey, that's not Proof of Valor. So, yeah, she's almost dead. That's kind of why, like, Proof of Valor is, like, her #1 artifact, just, like, straight up, period. Kind of dumb, but hey, that's the nature of the game, boys and girls. We don't have an extra Bastions of Hope, but, like, hey, fuck it. Why don't we just have, you know, 2 maxed Proof of Valors? Because, you know, good game design. But whatever. So, right here, Apocalypse Ravi is already dead, and if you noticed, we were doing a little bit of, like, cycling, because we give ourselves defense buff with Doris, but we also give ourselves defense buff with Alencia as well, which is why, precisely, I went into Apocalypse Ravi first, instead of just, like, letting the S3 rip. Also, because I use auto-mail on my Alencia, which really just benefits her from being able to use her S1 repeatedly. So, ultimately, unless you need to strip, or you need a defense buff of some kind with your Alencia, you don't really need to use the S3, like, hardly at all. But, either way, now that we've effectively pretty much dealt with the whole team right there, we'll just go into Ran after we killed Archdemon Shadow, and we are done with this team. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Delicious alcohol. Okay, now, Team 2. Shit gets a little fucking dicey here. But yeah, we're fighting Conqueror, Lilias, Senya, and Roy Mustang. So I could decide to go into this. Okay, yeah, I'll go into this with Roana, Elena, and Inferno Khawazu. And my ultimate plan is, okay, so every time the Senya is going to attack with her S3, I'm going to essentially delete a unit. Okay, yeah, cool idea. But can you handle the amount of damage that the Senya is going to be pushing out? So this is the factor that I didn't really think all the way through. But I mean, the plan was there, because straight up, I'm not dealing with Roy and his bullshit. Because that Roy went into my Roana. My Roana's pretty thick, and he actually did a fairly decent amount of damage. Now, because of what Inferno Khawazu does, he'll go into him, strip the barrier, land, what was that, like 4 different burn debuffs, and delete. Basically, because, like, no Roy is ever going to have a lot of HP. The nature in which how Roy works is he just takes a set amount of damage. He's one of those Tempest, Surin, Spirit Eye, Celine type characters. And, hey, cool. We use extra damage, because that's what, like, the burn detonation is. So, hey, he's completely taken care of. Easy peasy. Now, the next thing that we have to deal with is, I'm ultimately just like, okay, well, I need to go ahead and get rid of Conqueror Lilias, because Conqueror Lilias is going to keep going into my Inferno Khawazu. My Inferno Khawazu is decent, but, like, look at this damage. And I think this is also not a maxed Spear of the New Dawn, but yeah, it did proc right there. So if I were to just let that run willy-nilly, like, out of complete control, I really think that Senya would actually kill me. Especially because the Senya will probably hit me a couple of times. Just like right here. Like, I don't have a lot of effect resist on my Inferno Khawazu, and if he goes into her, he's guaranteed not going to crit her. Like, just period. It's just not going to happen. So I'm just taking extra damage. So I'm running very, very massive risks of actually getting myself killed. And I'm starting to think things through just a little bit. It's like, okay, it's just slow down just a tad. Make sure that we have Roana available to do any and all kind of heals that she can possibly do. We don't have any more counter hit on Senya right now, which is one of the things that I was utilizing, because the only unit on my team that can really take a hit from Senya right now is Roana. My Elena is okay, but she's only really good against AoEs, period. Like, that's the only real, like, damage mitigation or just any kind of, like, effectiveness in terms of survival that she can really do. Case in point, like, hey, we were really, really low in the HP bar, now everybody's, like, at full HP. Super, super cool. But, hey, looky whose turn it is. So, Inferno Khawazu's gonna go, and we're just gonna strip the Senya completely dry, and we're gonna see if we can actually kill her right here. Shazam. That was 2, 4, 5. That was 5 different burn buffs and a detonation. Almost death. And she was low enough to where even a single hit from Elena killed her, and then Roana is now going to kill Conqueror Lilias. So, it worked. It just was a little stressful. Just a little bit. Where's my drink? Now, we're using the same team we used before. Alencia, Edward, and Doris. Now, we're going into Mercedes, Apocalypse Ravi, and Lua. This isn't the best team to go into it. I'm sure some people have actually messaged me before in the past and said better teams. Because right here, that's the deciding factor. Right after Lua does her S3, if she is high enough effectiveness and she does hit your Doris, you run a very, very high chance of being absolutely fucked. Like, there's a very, very high possibility that you are completely screwed. Because you just may take so much damage that you just can't recover fast enough. It's the one thing that really is like a huge bitch about fighting Lua. Especially when you even have high effect resist and then you still get hit by it, because like the magic number for effectiveness is like, what, 150 or something like that? But either way, we're actually getting a lot of good luck. Like, every time we've gone into Apocalypse Ravi, we're getting death breaks like crazy, and she's just an all-around non-threat. Also, Mercedes has already burned her Magic for Friends, did almost fucking nothing, because she didn't have attack buff whenever she procced it. That's like one of the things that really kind of sucks about Magic for Friends, is just its unpredictability. Even whenever you're trying to use it to your own advantage, sometimes you just don't get it. Because, like, that's the main reason why I almost always bring Roana into, like, a Mercedes Magic for Friends shenanigans fest. Is just, it feels safe because of all the free heals that you get from Magic for Friends procs. But, hey, either way. We've dealt with Mercedes, and now all we have to deal with is Apocalypse Ravi and Lua. Now, Apocalypse Ravi is already at 50% injury, so she's gonna do, I don't know, jack fucking shit. So now we just have Alencia go into her. She'll eventually kill her. It's guaranteed at this point. It doesn't matter. Yeah, proof of valor. Yeah, I don't give a shit. Whatever. But then all we have left is Lua. And when Lua is just by herself, or she straight up can't do her effectiveness bullshit, which is the only thing that she's fucking good for, if she can't do that, she's a useless unit. Which is usually why, like, I utilize a lot of Christie shenanigans going into Lua. I just fucking despise this unit. Now, there are going to be some Lilias shenanigans later. We'll get to it when we get to it. But for now, welcome to the actual feature presentation. That is 270 speed on that Zahhak. Or, that is speed RNG at 250 to 260. You can see why I love racing. I never do it. It's probably the biggest reason why I never do it. But, ultimately, it's not over. Sure, we lost our Ran and our ultimate bait for Zahhak. The biggest thing that I'm trying to bait is I do not want Zahhak, under any circumstances, to hit my Destina with an S3. Period. That's like the number one thing I do not want to happen. And if I can prevent it on my Pyllis, that is also what I want to prevent. Also, by the by, we're already at like half health with Pyllis, so we've lost our 60% ER. And it's going to be fluctuating quite a bit. So it's probably best to just assume we're going to be at like 150 ER on Pyllis pretty much the whole time. So that also means that Arowell is actually rocking some form of effectiveness. Because, yeah, she'll have her effectiveness buff that pops up periodically, which is just 50%. So this could very well possibly be like some 50 to like possibly even like 80 to 100% like effect resist or effectiveness on the Arowell. She does not land every single hit on Pyllis, but she has stripped a few defense breaks or defense buffs every now and then. So, yeah, it's possible. Hell, it's also very possible that she's not rocking any effectiveness at all. But either way, I'm looking extremely fucked up right now. So I have to take this chance. And the good news is, Spirit Eye Celine is not... She does not have her awakening or spirit possession buff right now. Now, because she does not have that, I am free to use my S2, S3 on Ran. Now, this is ultimately going to kill Zahhak. He's at almost no HP. And this is also going to do a pretty big hit on Celine. Doesn't really matter because she's going to cleanse that shit off anyway. But it did a pretty hefty hit on Arowell. So ultimately, the next phase of business that we need to do is we have to kill Arowell next. Or we have to get her extremely low. Because this is going to bring back Big Back Daddy fucking Zahhak again. And his next turn, he's going to go right into Ran. I tried to go for a strip right there. Ultimately, got 15%ed. Cool. Fun game. But hey, because we missed the 15%, now he has invincibility, and we're down to just like Ran. So here I'm just thinking of like what I need to do. I'm looking at the CR bar. Ultimately, I need to kill Arowell. Like, Arowell needs to die now. Or she just needs to be low enough. So now I'm just trying to keep Pyllis alive as much as I possibly can, because thankfully this Spirit Eye Celine hasn't gotten obscenely lucky with Dust Devil procs in every single fight, or like in every single attack. Thank fucking God for me, because if she did proc Dust Devil like almost every other turn, I'm pretty damn positive I would be utterly fucked. So I have a Soul Burn here, and I decided to go ahead and just throw it away onto Arowell, just because I think it's a little bit more damage. And I think I'm right on that front, but either way, we're just saving it for just in case we need to throw a Provoke out onto Spirit Eye Celine, which is ultimately what my actual goal is here. Because I'm still a very far away from reviving Ran again, and... right here, I try to go for it. I think I go for a Provoke, and I think this one lands. But I mean, it doesn't matter yet, because I think she still has one more turn until she's able to actually use her S3. So her next turn, she should have her S3 now. And it's a fun dance, isn't it? Right now, just seeing how close to death like Pyllis is coming constantly. I'm so thankful Spirit Eye Celine does not fucking injure. Holy fucking shit. But either way, things are still kind of progressing along bit by bit. I think right here she goes for the S3. Yeah. Because I think I tried to attempt to get her provoked, and I think I 15%ed yet again on my Shadow Knight Pyllis. It's just like, okay, cool. Game just fucking hates me. But you know what? We don't really have much of a choice right now. We have to get a strip, and we have to kill with Rocket Punch. Thankfully, we did. And now, because things are starting to kind of roll in our favor a little bit, now we can kind of recover from this position, revive Ran right here, and in all honesty, I do not give a flying fuck if Ran dies. I really don't. I hardly use Ran. He's a low priority character for me at this point, but I'm still trying to go for Arowell. She needs to die. And thankfully, we're at a point now where we should be able to get one pretty decent hit off. The biggest thing that'll fuck us up is on Rand's next turn is he's going to S2, S3. So, yeah, here comes Mental Focus, and then here comes, let's see, what is it? Instant Blade. So, with this right here, the only thing that'll stop me now at this point is if she Dust Devils me. Now, she doesn't. She only does a single hit. And because of that, she has Stigma, which halves the amount of healing that she gets. So she didn't get a big enough heal from that one counterattack that she did. So if I were to just S3, and I use Perceptive Slash right into her right here, this actually kills her. I didn't think it would, but that was the effect of Stigma. Stigma right there is what made that possible. How interesting. Now, here comes the Lilias shenanigans. So we're rocking Zahhak, Lilias, and Rimuru against a oh-so-wonderful Lua team. And I didn't see who else was on the team. Lua, Rim, and Senya. So, we go for the Provoke right there. We use Zahhak's turn because he's fairly fast. We're going to give that extra turn to Rimuru. So Rimuru's primed and ready to kill. Now, I use Zahhak to go into Rim. Because, quite frankly, I don't want to play this fucking game. Fuck Rim. And then I also go for the S3 with Rimuru. We're going to go into Lua right now. I just, get the fuck out of my game. Get out. Get the fuck out. And now we're going to go ahead and, like, here we have Senya, and Senya's going to go into our team. Now, thankfully, she actually misses. Well, actually, I don't think she did miss. I think she just straight up didn't land any debuffs on Lilias. Either way, Lilias now has her S3 ready. She's able to completely cleanse everybody. Everything's good to go. And even if we missed or anything like that, we would have been fine. But hey, we didn't. We just straight up killed. Now, final match. This is a Troublemaker, Crozet, Spirit Eye, Celine, and Roana. Very, very, very safe comp. And we're going into Apocalypse, Ravi, Kayron, and Zio. Now, to anyone who's ever used a Troublemaker, Crozet type of team, you probably immediately recognize what's going on here. It's extremely overpowered. Because anytime you're protecting a unit that has damage limitations that are on them, like Spirit Eye Celine, for example, she already can only take like 2 hits. But if you are rocking any kind of damage sharing or damage mitigation type of unit that goes onto her as well, then suddenly that 2-turn shit then turns into 3. So your only real weakness at that point, in all honesty, is extra damage. That's the only thing that's really going to take you out. So the only other thing that could possibly fuck me up, even just a little bit, is Zio, because he does 2 hits. But the big thing that makes this not a threat is the fact that Apocalypse Ravi is going to hit into Spirit Eye Celine. She's going to injure Spirit Eye Celine, which then makes her HP pool even lower. Now, when it does that, it just means that they're going to be just doing even less damage to her. So, like I said, the only real honest-to-God weakness that Spirit Eye Celine has in this comp is any units that go into her with additional damage. Now, none of them are rocking any type of additional damage. Now, the only thing that I have to worry about now is just Kayron. But Kayron is of absolutely he's no threat. Because I have so much damage mitigation coming from Troublemaker Crozet. I have healing coming from Roana. If they're all at full health, the barriers will always go to Spirit Eye Celine. And, oh hey, looky there, we got a stun. So anytime you happen to stun Kayron, and then he gets his like immortality or whatever, and they're almost always slow if they're on counter or anything like that. So he's just free. 100%.
What a thrilling victory.
Well, it wasn't that thrilling, T. Crozet, but hey, is I. So, I figured I'd go ahead and I'll talk about Monday real quick. Yeah, the reason why there was no Guild War on Monday was because we quite literally had a guild that, how can I say this nicely? Had no fucking chance of winning? Yeah, we'll go with that. So yeah, like putting single target units on your defenses, having not even level 60, that kind of shit. So I just figured, you guys probably don't need to see that. So yeah, I just decided to, I'll just throw it away. It doesn't matter. But that was why I threw out one of those auto tower videos, which they're always fun to make here and there. I figured nobody really kind of cares about those, but hey, it's kind of fun to just like throw out some music here and there. But yeah, this team was fun. It was a fun Guild War. I always have so much more trouble going into like off meta kind of teams than I do like the super crazy fucking meta shit. Like so far, like what's super crazy meta nowadays? It's basically like anything that has Lua in it. And if it's like Lua, Senya, Shu, I quite literally have like a hyper free team that can go into that and I will always win. That being that being Shadow Knight, Pyllis, Christy, and Roana. I've showed you guys that numerous times. You can fucking auto that shit. It's not even, I'm not even joking. You can auto that. So that's why, like, I think that's pretty much why you never see Lewis and Yeshu anymore. And in all honesty, I also have a pretty decent team against, like, Conqueror, Lilias, and Yeshu. It's getting so boring, man. I'm so tired of it. And that one, if you were curious, is Arunca, Roana, and Shadow Knight Pyllis. It's just, God, it's fucking boring. It's so fucking boring. But, hey, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, go ahead and leave me a like. And if you want to see more of my content, please hit subscribe. It does wonders for my mental health. But, hey, I hope to see you guys again some other time. Later.